I'm welcome to Movies Remastered. Happy New Year, everyone. I know it's a bit late, but it's better late than never. New look, new year. That's how we're going to do it this time. So right now, I'm going to go into Mandalorian Chapter 15. But before I do that, I just want to say a big thank you to all the support and amazing messages that I got for dropping my teaser trailer. Now, a lot of people complained it wasn't long enough, but that is just a teaser trailer. The full trailer will come at 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, subscribe now, and then I get the community tab, and I'm going to share so many new scenes when it comes to the Rise of Skywalker and other edits that I'm doing. But today I want to focus on Mandalorian Chapter 15. I've already done this video where I fixed the face reveal in Chapter 1, Season 1, sorry, the finale. Now, in my opinion, I don't feel like we should have seen Mando's face at all the way up until the finale, which was incredible. I feel if we saw Vader's face or Anakin's face 2 or 3 times before we saw the face off right at the end, you know, that would have taken away the gravitas and amazing scene with Luke and Anakin. So I feel like because we've seen Mando's face 2 or 3 times already, you know, it kind of detracted away from that finale.
So if this would have been the first time we saw Mando's face, it would have been an amazing reveal, but we've seen it 2 or 3 times before that, so it didn't really have that big a payoff. But it was still a beautiful scene and a great way to end the season. Also, I'm really glad he didn't have a perfectly manicured mustache. For somebody who doesn't take off the helmet, why would he bother to have a perfect mustache in Chapter 15? This little detail really drove me crazy.
And with the CGI that I've already done another video on, you can check that one out here about Luke's CGI. I was really taken back on that. But after I saw Chapter 15, I managed to fix it. So I've now taken away the face reveal and done some clever cinematography and some cutaway fades and stuff. So I'm going to show you that today, and let's jump into it. And we're going to jump right in now. So obviously there's a soundtrack, and the clip's too long for me to show the whole thing because of copyright on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is review it, break it down, and show you scene by scene what the original was and how I fixed it. So let's get back to, where's the first bit? Here it is. So what we've got is Mando walking in. He walks up to the machine. Apparently anybody can walk up to this machine. All it needs is a face read. It doesn't figure out who you are. It just needs a facial scan. That was number one. That seemed weird. So we see the face reveal there. Don't think it needed to be done. We then constantly keep seeing face reads. This scene I then removed for later on. I'll show you that in a bit. Then he puts the key in. Then the tension builds. So we see Mando's face. He asks him a question. Then he asks him a second question. So I'm going to pause it there because there's enough to go by already. Now, if you look at this section here, you could see I've done all of these clips in different colors. Now I'm colorblind, so what I've tried to do is get the colors that are furthest away from each other. I can't really see reds, blues, purples. But anyway, we're going to go back to the beginning. So here we go. Full screen. So this is what I've changed. This is my fixed version. So what we do is do a cutaway straight away where Mando lifts the helmet. Then we do another cutaway. So this part here, this was earlier on. So what I've done, you can see here, I've actually slowed the frame down by half the speed, and you can see that this graphic here matches the same pattern as her doing the countdown. 2, there you go. So instead of having a close-up of Mando's face, I've then done the long shot, wide shot cutaway. Now I don't mind the fact that Mando's taking his helmet off at this point. Obviously when he spoke to Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians, he then realised that, you know, maybe the creed that he's got isn't as important as Grogu. So this really does show Mando's character progressing and showing how much care he has for the child. So this wide shot then allows us to know that Mando's taking his helmet off, but we don't see his face as an audience. Then I've cut out all of the facial close-ups. We don't need to see that at all. That was just dead footage in my opinion. Then he puts the key in. We go back to the footage. Another wide shot. Straight back to Mayfeld. So there's still a bit of tension. The cutaway back to Mayfeld.
What's your designation? What's your TK number?
So instead of the reply, I've allowed this guy to then ask 2 questions back to back to add the attention, to still keep that, is he going to be in trouble, is he not? He didn't need to answer him at that point. So what I've also done is I'm breaking that tension by allowing Mayfeld's character to come in to rescue Mando quicker than he did in the original. So not only does this show that Mayfeld's character is now protecting Mando and that his reactions are a lot quicker, is that he's now decided that it is his time to come in a lot quicker than he did before. So that shows more support for these guys than his old employees. So let's go back to the other shot, this bit here. So this is now the original.
My TK number is...
This is my commanding officer, TK-593, sir. I'm Imperial Combat Assault Transport Lieutenant TK-111, sir.
So you see Mando here.
Speak up to him a little bit.
I do a close-up in a minute.
Vessel lost pressure and taint out.
So let's go to what I've done.
Lieutenant TK-111, sir.
So you see what I've done here is I took the clip, I rendered it out in 4K, and then I've done the zoom in. So now I've taken out Mando, as you can see. Let's go back to the original.
What's your name, officer?
So we don't need to see any of this.
We just call him Brown Eyes.
So going back to my version, this is the more zoomed in 4K version, so we don't lose that much quality.
Speak up to him a little bit. Since his vessel lost pressure and taint out.
What's your name, officer?
We just call him Brown Eyes. Is that right, officer?
So it's cut out all of the hoo-ha and unnecessary dialogue that we needed at that point. So, just before it gets to the crazy bit, here's my plot.
Is that right, officer? Come on, let's go fill out those TPS reports.
So we zoom in when we don't need to see Mando, and when we see the back of Mando's head, we can keep the regular shot, and everything's normal. We don't see the face reveal.
Recharge the power coil here.
And this is where it gets interesting. So we've got the wide shot, Mando's right in the middle, so it's really hard to cut him out. So what I've done, again, I've rendered out the clip in 4K and zoomed in. So here's the original.
You're not dismissed.
So there's the original, and here's mine. So with the zoom in, as you can see here, 4K zoom in, I just keep Mando in there on the corner of the screen, so we're teased. We want to see, as an audience, we want to see his face, but we don't want that payoff until the finale of season 2.
You're not dismissed.
So this zoom in, now I don't know if you saw that. Now what I wanted to do is recreate what you get in the old movies. There's a lot of influence from old Japanese movies, samurai movies, karate movies. Where they zoom in with the camera and go into a wide shot. And you can see me do that here. I use an effect for this, but I might show you how to do that in another video, because this video is going to be really long otherwise. So watch the zoom shot.
The power coil.
You're not dismissed.
There. I really like that. And again, zoomed in to Mayfeld on the close-up shot, and as we see Mando, we then cut to the wider shot. So that's the fixed version. Let's go back to the original.
You're the tank troopers that delivered the shipment of rebellion.
Yes, sir.
So again, we've got the wide shot here. So I exported it in 4K, zoomed in, and just kept Mando in the corner of the shot. I'll show you in a sec.
Yes, sir.
Here's the good shot. Goes out of focus and into focus. This is the original. So on my bit, keep to the wide shot.
To the tank troopers who delivered the shipment of Rebellion.
Yes, sir.
See the close up? That's the 4K zoom in, and we just keep Mando at the corner of the screen.
Yes, sir.
Then here's the clever bit. So as you can see, Mando's out of focus here. So he's just walking through, and just before that close up, I cut to another close up of Mayfeld.
Well, you two managed to be the only transport today to deliver their shipment.
Another close up here. This is the fixed version.
Come with me. Let's get a drink. Brown eyes.
And then we cut, and in the original, plays out like this. So we've zoomed in at this point.
You two managed to be the only transport today to deliver their shipment.
That's where the cut is.
Come with me.
So we just see that part.
Let's get a drink.
Cut to the original.
Brown eyes.
Just before we see Mando's face, we then cut to the next scene. So we don't get to see Mayfeld walk off. So that's the first part of that scene done. Then we're going to go to the second scene, which is extremely complicated. As you can see here, again, I've done color coded yellowy when Mayfeld's on his own, green maybe, don't know, when we see this guy, and then the kind of pinky red is when I've used the 4K footage to zoom in. So let's play this bit. We've got the wide shot. It's going to be really tricky because Mando's sitting right in the middle of the two characters that I want to show, but I don't want to show Mando's face. This is the original.
To health, to success, but
This part's tricky.
I like to do
Thankfully,
something a little less rough.
he's hardly talking here. So with that shot, in my edition,
Success, but
I've got this close up. Now this is another shot from later on that I've now upscaled to 4K so I could do the close up, and now I have Mayfeld looking at Mando shiftily.
I like to do something a little less rough.
And I've tightened up that audio slightly. Now again, this is another close up. This is the 4K upscale.
From Brown Eyes.
So that's my fixed version, and the original goes like that.
Where you from, Brown Eyes?
So that whole section was zoomed in. That part's cut out.
How about a toast to
All of this section's cut out.
Cinder?
So now I've just zoomed it in again here. Show you that.
How about a toast to Operation Cinder?
You see the difference? So now we go back to the original.
No, I don't just know it. I lived it.
So got to get rid of Mando again. So we use a longer shot from later on. This is a longer pause so we can do Mayfeld's audio over this section.
Now there's a man who knows his history.
No, I don't just know it.
Quick cut.
I lived it. I was in Vernon Con.
Burning Tom. That was a hard day. I had to make many unpleasant decisions.
So what I'm trying to do now is building even more tension. I had to get rid of some of the tension in the earlier clip, but this is now trying to build as much tension as possible. The eye isn't on Mando. We don't even need to see Mando's face at this point. Mayfeld is locked into this guy. He's gunning for him. So to cut away to Mando's face is just going to break that tension. So keeping him locked and having that music the way that it is, in my opinion, builds so much more tension for this scene. He is just fixed on him. They're just locked on each other now. And to me, that builds more tension than this.
That was hard.
Doesn't need to see.
Many unpleasant decisions.
Yes, you did. We lost our whole division that day.
Doesn't need to see this.
Man, it was like 10,000 people.
Well, it's a small sacrifice.
Now I really like that scene where Bill Burr just looks at. Mayfeld just looks at Mando. I love that scene. I wanted to try and keep it in, but it was tough. So I did this instead.
Man, it was like 10,000 people.
Yep. All heroes of the Empire.
Yeah. All dead.
Well, it's a small sacrifice for the greater good.
So it just goes back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, something to think.
Just keeps that tension.
True.
All those people. The ones who died. Was it good for them?
So also cutting out those cutaways to Mando really speeds up this tension. Speeds up the dialogue between these two. Bill Burr he brings a lot of himself into this character. He's witty. He's quick at coming back with just smart remarks. And I think that them keep cutting away to Mando kind of took that away from Bill Burr's character, who I absolutely love. Bill Burr has been amazing through this whole global situation. Even his stand-up's been getting me through this. So yeah, so I just wanted to focus on that and stop these cutaways, so I can keep all this the same. There was just one cut in this point.
But what they really want is order.
So all of that's exactly the same. Just going to go up to this bit.
See, boy, everybody thinks they want freedom. But what they really want is order.
Cut to Bill Burr. No cut to Mando.
Welcome us back
Tension's bubbling. Tension's bubbling.
to the Empire.
It's on. Now this is the only thing that I couldn't cut out. This one quick short scene. If we go back to the original, I've managed to cut all of this out. We don't get to see Mando. This is fantastic.
Welcome us back.
Bill Burr's becoming such a great actor now. He plays this part fantastic. And his character gets a full arc, which is incredible. So we get to see this wide shot. So this is the original. We see the Mando close up. I'm going to try and break this down. Mando, Bill Burr, Mayfeld. Turn around. We saw the close up, turn around. There's a pause. And then there's a shot. In mine, happens way quicker. Bang, turn around before we see his face, shoot straight away, and the action's on. It just really tightens that scene up a bit, and I much prefer it that way, and it works a lot better just by cutting out Mando's face. Now this is the tricky bit. So this is the original. Now I really struggled at that point to get that gun movement and no face reveal. I had to do something tricky. I'll show you in a sec. So he shoots, then we see his face, then he picks up the helmet and passes it to him. The camera movement was really tricky, and then he says, "I didn't see your face," and then we see him put the helmet on. That part took a lot of effort, so this is how I played it. So we've done the quick shot, removed the face, removed his face as Mando turns around. Mando's going for the gun. So I then had to take out the next shot of his face close up. Zoom in. Luckily, if you see, the camera's out of focus. So I cut away just before we see the focus. Then I had to cut out the close-up. Mayfeld then passes him the helmet, but the pan shot made the cut look weird. So I had to slow it down. Then I've cut to the troopers. So I'm just going to play that back quickly because I think I talked too much for that. There we go. So I've had to overdub it. Troopers, cut away for him to put, for Mando to put the helmet back on. Then bang, straight back into the action. Now I've had to do a lot of edits there. Show you how the original played out. So I had to do a close up to the helmet, cut this part away, so I had the trooper as the cutaway, reverse those scenes straight into the action. And you can see all the work that I've had to do here, all the different sound effects and the audio cover-ups, fade in, fade outs. And that took about 2 or 3 days, which I think was pretty good. Now I'm really sorry that I couldn't show you the whole scene. It was so long, and obviously with YouTube's copyrights it won't let me do that. But hopefully you've enjoyed today's video and you've seen the comparison back and forth. Hope it wasn't too much for you. And if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Like I say, at 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do my full Rise of Skywalker, The Last Hope trailer. And it's absolutely incredible. There's so much work going on there. So hopefully now that's going to be one of the last Mandalorian Season 2 videos for this series, and now we can focus on the Rise of Skywalker again. So like I say, don't forget to subscribe if you can, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.